Hi, everybody. This is Renata Carmen, and I'm giving you all a little update on my flare that I've been dealing with from my fibromyalgia. No, not flare like Office Space flare. Um, Flare isn't a flare up in my autoimmune syndrome, which is fibromyalgia, as I said already. Last time I checked in with you all, I was kind of in the depths of a flare, and I talked about how I had just gotten VSL3 again, and I had mentioned that was one of the things that really helps me. I'm excited to say that after doing double package doses for about 10 days, in addition to vitamin D3, this is my favorite D3 supplement, not only because of the ingredients, but the fact that it's a spray and it's sublingual. It absorbs so much better that way. I'm excited to say that my flare broke yesterday. Whee! Now, obviously, it's not just these two things. And again, I'm not endorsed by any companies right now, although I'm open to it because this stuff gets expensive. However, nobody's paying me to talk about these products or any of these things that I do. I'm just putting this stuff out there to try to help anyone else who's going through a similar situation. Um, to learn more from a real scientist, I'll put some links below. I'm a big fan of Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who has her website Found My Fitness, as well as a podcast. And she talks a lot about the science behind this stuff. There's also the Dr. Sonnenbergs, who wrote the Good Gut book, which is chock full of amazing science that just came out in 2016, I believe, maybe 2015, so pretty recent. It's 2018 right now as I'm recording this. So, anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about the things that have been helping me, what I've been doing, and what you can do to deal with the in between period. Sorry, my Google Hangouts is blowing up right now if you hear that little bloop, bloop. Um, so, first of all, probiotics, as I've mentioned before, are so important for gut health, and gut health is so important for the health of everything else in the body. Now, it's not just about supplements, it's about what you eat. I have been very diligent about my diet, stress management, my lifestyle, my creativity, physical exertion. All of these things are super important. And I have been bedridden before, and I know what it's like to be so in the depths of an illness that you struggle to get up to get water for days and days and months on end. And so obviously everybody's going to be a little different. There's going to be different things that we can do, but what matters is you do what you can when you can, give yourself love and care, and not be afraid to speak out for your needs, while also remembering that your illness doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. You can't let that stress you out, but it's important to remember that because we can get very caught up in survival. That can make things very ugly. It can affect our relationships long term. We don't need any of that. We're already dealing with enough. So, I'm not just saying there's a cure all, a one all panacea for fibromyalgia or other autoimmune diseases. I don't think there's such a thing. I think we're like puzzles and we have different pieces we need to find that work for each of us. But for just about everybody, I feel like probiotics can be so powerfully beneficial. It's mind blowing. And as I've mentioned before in my VSL3 video, that this is the best probiotic I've tried. And I worked at Whole Foods for a while. I have tried pretty much every probiotic you could think of. And this is not sold there. The VSL3 is sold online. You might be able to get it maybe from a pharmacy or something. But anyways, I doubled up on these. These are 450 billion with a B CFUs, colony forming units, freeze dried. Sorry, I live in Panorama City, so there's gonna be sirens. Anyways, this is freeze dried and it has 6 different kinds of probiotics in it, which have been shown to help populate many more than just 6. And it's also like everything free. If you check out my VSL video, you will see the full details about it. So, the other thing that has been helping me a lot is my vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is so helpful. It is not a vitamin, it is a steroid hormone. Let me repeat that. Vitamin D3 is a steroid hormone. It is used for creating serotonin, which helps run everything in the body and seems to be related to autoimmune issues. It's quite fascinating. And if you look up the chemical structure of the steroid prednisone that they quite often prescribe to get people out of a flare up or an allergic reaction, the chemical composition, the chemical shape of prednisone is almost identical to vitamin D3. There's like one little chain difference. It's quite fascinating. I should have looked at the shape beforehand and drawn it for you, Sasha Shulgin style, but I don't have them in my head like he does, or he did. May he rest in peace. So I cannot state enough how important it is to be using this if you have an autoimmune issue, especially when you're in a flare. Like I said, the spray is my favorite. I've done a review on this as well. Again, my favorite because it's sublingual and my gut has such a hard time absorbing things when it's compromised that sublingual can be one of the best ways to get things in my body besides transdermal or something like that. One thing that I do want to say is when you are starting this process, you are going to deal with what they call die-off symptoms or Herxheimer reaction or something like that. It's got a fancy name that I can't remember. They're horrible. What that is the bacteria in your gut being replaced and overhauled with new, fresh bacteria. And in that process, the old stuff dies off and it has to be flushed out. I know this sounds woo-wooey. We're talking about bacteria and detoxing and all this stuff, but this is really legit. There's science behind it. And I have, oh, hello, Kitty. Kitty says he agrees. And so, of course, then it's good, you know. But I have done a lot of self-experimentation, and I got to tell you from personal experience that die-off is real and it's no fun. I was in the depths of it yesterday morning and I thought that I was coming down with a really bad flu or another flare up before I remembered that I was healing my gut with 900 billion CFUs of probiotics every day after having not done that for a while and after having not taken care of my gut very well and eating poorly and drinking a little too much alcohol and things like that, which can all compromise the balance of the stomach, the gut, excuse me. It's a lot more than just the stomach. So anyways, die-off symptoms are horrible. You're going to deal with them. There are ways to deal with die-off. You can read many articles about it, but basically, long story long, is you got to just kind of write it out. You're going to be tempted to just pump yourself full of meds, but one of the best things you can do is just try to get through it and flush your system out with as many, herbal teas and lemon water and Epsom salt baths and gentle exercise. Try to sweat it out as much as you can. I felt so much better after I made it to my martial arts class last night. I was sweating like crazy, and a lot of this stuff came out through the exercise and through the sweat. And I felt a million times better after training last night. It was so good to get through the peak of that because I was writhing on the floor yesterday and just miserable, not sure what I was going to do with myself. So die off is real. It's something you're going to deal with. You can minimize it by going slow with the changes that you make to your diet, your lifestyle, and the additions that you make with the supplements, especially the high count probiotics. If you're new, if you're just starting off, if you've never done anything like this before, you may want to do a lower count probiotic or even take this and cut it in half, whatever works for you. You're going to have to do some self experimentation. There is no one size fits all, as I've said before, and I'll say it again. But I just wanted to put this out there, let you all know that if you're in the depths of a flare, if you feel frustrated, there are things that you can do. You can take things into your own hands, and I am proof of that. And again, I'm not getting paid to say any of this. Nobody's sitting here prodding me, Renata, say this about this, talk up this, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not happening here. This is me telling you from my personal experience what I feel, what I've dealt with, and to just try to hopefully plant some seeds of hope and positivity during what can be an incredibly dark, challenging, and isolating time. Being in the depths of a flare or some other illness or an injury or something like that is one of the most isolating, horrific things that a human being can go through. And so that's what drives me to put these out, is to try to help generate understanding and compassion, never pity. None of us ever want your pity. I don't want your pity anyway. I can't speak for everybody. But What I do want to spread is awareness and compassion and understanding and hope for those who are going through similar situations. So I'll be back with more. For now, this is Renata Carmen signing off saying love and spoons.